Hello, boat trip operators, BTOs, as I call you. How's it going? My name is Vitaly Levitt, and today I'm going to be telling you how to grow your direct bookings with SEO, and it is going to be super fun. Volume 2, because our first one didn't work out. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today. We're going to have a few more people join us here in a minute. Let me tell you that I packed a ton of content into this webinar. So if you follow this process, you guys can significantly increase your direct bookings through organic search and wean yourself off of the dependence of OTAs and social media and advertising, because SEO is by far the best. And let's get into some of this and what we're going to be covering today. So who is this for? This is for boat trip operators who are taking their business seriously. And I mean, it's like, yes, you have a passion for running the charters or boat trips or scuba or whatever else. But fundamentally, you need to look at this as a holistic in your business, right? Like, how do you increase the business? How do you grow the business? How do you operationalize, systematize, right? And so this is for people who are taking their business seriously. You want to grow and you want to build a sustainable business. You have some capital to invest in growth, because ultimately you'll need some tools, you'll need some services in order to do this. And you're tired of paying crazy high commissions to OTAs and to advertising costs. And so what we'll be covering today, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of myself and my experience, my past. I'm going to tell you about why SEO is the best channel for direct bookings, how to help customers find you that are already looking for you, which I think is like the key to SEO, right? You essentially insert yourself into the existing flow of demand. People are already looking for you. How do you help them find you? And then we're going to talk about targeting people who are ready to buy, not just those that are browsing. So this is a very important distinction as well, right? You want people who are ready to buy from you. And then we're going to talk about how to structure your website, how to organize it. We're going to talk about how to create content quickly and easily, because fundamentally content is the king for SEO. How to increase the authority of your website. And then we're talking about Q&A and some ongoing help that I can offer you guys. Okay. So grab a piece of paper and a pen. There's going to be a ton of information in this. And if you have any comments, questions, feel free to post them in the comments thread. Keep in mind that there's a 20-second delay between what I'm presenting and what you're seeing in Facebook Live. So my suggestion, I'll try to kind of space that time out, but like give me a little bit of time to process your question in this webinar. Okay. So brief introduction. Hello there. My name is Vitaly. Over the last 10 years or so, I've served as director and VP level marketing executive at a number of technology companies in Silicon Valley. I've helped over 10 Silicon Valley companies grow. And I am directly responsible for about $100 million in revenue over that course of time. So I do marketing as a career. This is what I do. And I ended up somehow in a boat trip operator business, which was not my intention, but it just kind of happened, right? I essentially was a bit burnt out. And in 2007, I decided to take a break, and I decided to go walk the Camino de Santiago. Camino de Santiago, for anyone that's not familiar, is an amazing pilgrimage that occurs in that's all. It happens through Spain, but like you can go through Portugal, through France, all over Europe. Pilgrims have been making this trek to Santiago for centuries. And I decided to go do this as like a spiritual experience for myself. I did half of it, and I decided, I was like, you know what, like my feet just don't work anymore. I walked for 2 weeks straight. It was a wonderful experience, but I decided to go and like take a load off. And I have some family in Tenerife, and so I decided to take a little break, hang out on the beach, relax. And this opportunity was presented to me by um, a gentleman who runs a travel agency there. He said, well, listen, we currently send all of our business to these partners. If we had our own boat, and if we did our own charters, we could keep all the profit. And so why don't we do that? And so that's what I did. I bought a boat. I bought a beautiful 49 Bavaria. I loved it. And I learned how to sail, and I learned how to run the business. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it tremendously. And so through this process, when I started this business, I realized just how difficult it was. No one was talking about what was working and what wasn't working in the travel space, especially not for boat trip operators. What's the best way to structure a website? How do you do proper SEO? How do you manage direct bookings? How do you manage OTAs? So like all these questions, there were no answers for me, which is partly why I created this group, because I wanted this community to help others who may be starting businesses and to grow. I made a lot of mistakes. We spent a lot of money, and we learned the hard way. We tried everything. We tried social media marketing. Our Instagram account has over 9,000 followers. We did influencer marketing with like people who had millions of followers. We did affiliate marketing. We worked with OTAs and so much more. And looking through all these channels, we realized that by far our best booking channel for direct bookings was organic search. So actual commission. So like we have a lot of resellers. We have like 100 local partners. We work with multiple OTAs, and OTA and local reseller commissions add up very quickly. We pay out an average of 35% across all these partners. $100,000, 100,000 euros. Actually, I should correct that. We've paid out over 100,000 euro in commissions in 2 years. I don't know if you've ever like taken the time to calculate how much it's actually cost you to do this, but it may not be at an initial upfront cost, right? Because like you're just like, yeah, I'll just like partner with you and you sell it and you get commission. But over time, and if you're building a long-term sustainable business, it's not sustainable, because this should not be a primary booking source, right? It's incredibly expensive. And so when we realized how much we were paying out to our partners, we that's when we started really kind of heavily investing in SEO, because I wanted to build something that was lasting. And every time we pay out a commission, it's money that we didn't invest in the business. It's, as an asset. It's money that we essentially just spent to acquire a customer, and then that customer flies away and then may not return ever again, or may return, once or twice to our destination, right? And so we realized that the faster we can build our own direct bookings and invest in our own assets, the better it would be for us in the long term. And so despite all these challenges, we still managed to build a $450,000 annual revenue business. Sorry, euro. keep getting them mixed up. With only one passenger boat in less than 2 years. Sorry, one 10-passenger boat in less than 2 years. So these are phenomenal results. But remember, like, we still paid out $100,000, right, in just commissions. So SEO is by far the best direct bookings channel. It accounts for 50% of our direct bookings today. And here are some ways to start thinking about how about your website and about your online presence, about SEO, right? So if you're serious about a long-term business, you want to build this thing to last, it's totally worth it for long-term results. So here's a really simple comparison of what it looks like to invest in PPC, which is pay-per-click advertising, like at Google Ads, right? Or SEO. So from PPC, you put money in and you almost immediately get results. You may have to do a couple of modifications, right? But if fundamentally, if someone's searching for you and they click on your ad, you get a booking. So this is great initially, but when you realize that all you're doing is spending money and you're building Google, and you're not building yourself, then you realize that that's not really the way that's not a sustainable vision, right? And so SEO is more of an upfront cost, but has significantly higher returns later on. So you can see, like in this chart, they're essentially saying that somewhere between 6 and 12 months is when you start seeing real results. I think you see them a little sooner. I think if you actually follow the methodology that I have in this presentation, you'll be able to start seeing results within 6 months, and you will very quickly realize just how powerful it is to have something that is sustainable, that you don't have to continuously invest in, and that just produces results for you automatically, right? So like now, like for us, we spent, like, we knew SEO was going to be a big part of it from, like, month 3 or month 4. We started investing right away. We're 16 months later, 15 months later, and now we're in the top positions for like all of our keywords. And when tourism restarts, I don't have to start ads again. I don't have to do social media advertising. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I just know that I'm going to get bookings because that channel has been built, right? That's an asset now that I own. And so SEO is invest in an asset, not quick results. So I'm not saying that you should replace your advertising budget entirely, but my recommendation is that you subsidize it. You shift some of your budget from advertising to SEO, because that's what builds your long-term sustainable business. It takes time. You got to be patient. It's easier than you think once you know the process. Content is king in SEO, and I'll show you how to do that really easily. And don't wait. This is now is the time. Start now, especially right now when you're not busy. SEO is by far the best thing you should be investing in, because you may not see those results now, but you'll see those results in 6 months or 12 months in your next very heavy season, and you'll be able to capitalize on all of that effort that you put into it now. So let's get into it. How to help customers find you that are already looking for you. Okay? So people out there are already searching, are already looking for what you have to offer. SEO's entire kind of goal is to place you in front of, or in the middle of, the flow of traffic that already exists around the world. People are already looking for this, right? So it's simple. This is pretty much keyword research. And I'm going to show you how to do this. You find the search terms that your customers are already using to describe what you offer. Okay. And you incorporate those words into your website, into the title tag, into the headings, and throughout the page. And there's like a bunch of stuff around this that we can talk about at some other time. But this is fundamentally it. It's not overly complex. You don't have to worry about things like keyword density, and there's like a whole bunch of technical terms. For you, you just need to figure out what is your MVC. I call this the most valuable content. Most valuable content is a simple formula. It's keywords or content that has high volume, low difficulty, and a high commercial intent. Okay? And I'm going to explain and break this down, all of this for you right now. So you build your content around your MVC. All right? So some tools that you can use for keyword research to figure out, like, what are people actually typing to find me? So Keyword Mixer is a great tool that allows you to create your own content or your own keyword ideas, because you know your business better than anybody else. Google Search Console, I highly recommend installing. It's a free tool. It's a piece of code that you put on your website. And essentially, it's an administrative tool that Google provides you that gives you access to data that you don't have access to anywhere else. So Google Search Console will give you keyword data and ranking data for free that you won't see in your Google Analytics. Google Analytics will only show you traffic and keywords where people don't have privacy enabled. But nowadays, 98% of the people have privacy enabled. And Google shows you that in Google Analytics as not provided because they don't have the rights to show you. But Search Console, Google Search Console, is an aggregate tool that shows you all the keywords that you are already ranking for. So if you're in a position 9 or 10 for a really great keyword, then it doesn't take much to put some work in to get that into the top 3 position, right? And so it gives you a lot of really, really great tools. Uber Suggest is a free keyword research tool. Google Keyword Planner is another free keyword tool, but will only give you aggregate data, still useful. And then Ahrefs, which is a professional tool that I use. It's $100 a month. And it's by far the best keyword research tool that I've found. So we're going to do a little live demo time. So essentially in the comments, if you want me to kind of give you some suggestions and we can do this live, put your website address and the country where the majority of your customers are coming from. Put that in the comments right now. And I'm going to show you how to use some of these tools to find out your keywords. All right, here we go. So we got flameofafrica.com. So let's see this website. I'm just going to do like a really quick look at it to see if what we can do to help. Very cool. So I'm gonna you look like a little bit more of like an OTA kind of, and you have a lot of different kinds of packages here. Let me actually just take a look at this real quick. Yeah, so you have yeah, I'm not going to do this one right now. It's a little bit too heavy. I'm just making it a little more simpler, so it's easier for people to follow along. Sorry about that. I'll be happy to help you later. Let me just take a look at a couple of these. Yeah, so this is a good simple site. We'll use this one as an example. So, wine boat, the wine cruise. So we essentially have what Prague cruise and wine. So cruise along historical parts of city center and taste 5 examples. Okay, cool. So you essentially offer you wine cruises in Prague. So what we essentially want to find out is, well, what are people already searching for that you could capitalize on, right? How do you insert yourself in the flow of existing intent? There's people already out there looking for you. How do you just capitalize on it? How do you capture that desire? Benjamin McDonald, is that the one that, hang on. He said, please be gentle. It's funny. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at some keyword examples. So here's some common ones. And obviously yours are all changed. Like for instance, yours is also going to include wine cruise. Oops. Right. So I'm curious how many people are searching for wine cruise in Prague. Right. So what we're going to do is go into Uber Suggest. Who posted the wine cruise one? Whoever posted that, tell me what's the who Andre Jelic. Hang on, let me unmute you. That's a good call. Andre, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Hey, what's your primary target audience? Like where do people come from? Like your primary audience?
So until now, before the lockdown and everything, most of our guests were from either US or from Northern Europe, like Perfect. Scandinavia or Western Europe, because our tours are like premium priced. So it's currently like wouldn't be that's affordable for locals.
So Prague wine cruise, you would say, is probably something that like people might search for you, right? This is very like very
Mm,
specific, right?
yeah, yeah.
So let's say like Prague wine cruise. Let's see how many people in the United States are searching for Prague wine cruise. By the way, I have 10 searches because I'm not. Oh no, my daily limit. All right. I apologize. I'm gonna use Ahrefs, which is my own tool for this then. But usually, what you would do is you would put Prague Wine Cruise here in Uber Suggest, and it would tell you how much volume it has and a couple other really key metrics. But since we can't use that one right now because I was testing it earlier, we're gonna do Ahrefs. If you need like an Uber Suggest is actually really easy to use, so I recommend it. So Prague wine cruise and the United States, and it's on Google, and we're going to search. So we're going to update this. If it says it has no data, that means there's not that much existing traffic for it already, right? People are not searching for Prague wine cruise. But I'm going to show you how to use a couple of these tools real quick that makes this a little easier. Now, these might not all be exact, but let me show you how we use Keyword Mixer. Keyword Mixer essentially gives you several lists of keywords and then it mixes them all together. So in this case, we're going to do, whale watching, dolphin watching. We probably don't need these. But boat trips, sailing. Do you guys do sailing, Andre?
No, we don't.
No, okay. But you do like boat charter, boat rental, wine cruise. These are all keywords that may come up for you, right? So,
Yeah, could work.
and then we're just going to do Prague. Our primary idea right now is to figure out what do people search for around your topic, right? And so Prague, could you also expand the geography on that? Do you want to do like the whole country, or you think it's just Prague? People are just searching for Prague.
I think Prague is even more famous than Czech Republic as
Okay. Perfect. So we'll do that. So we're going to take these keywords this keyword mixer. By the way, if you had multiple, so you can do like, I don't know how to spell Czech.
It says
CZE, that's Czech. So like if you had multiple keywords here and here and here, so like I'll give you an example. You could do, you could put these here and then these here, and then you could do best, top, compare, and so what that does essentially just gives you like a whole list of keywords. So like this is something that's useful from your own experience. You know what people are going to be searching for, and you know what kind of boat tour you offer. So this is the way to do that. So you essentially do that. Let me just pull these out because I just want the Prague ones. So what's it doing? Oh, it's pulling a blank right here. So we're going to pull these and we're going to put them in Keywords Explorer. So by the way, there's no search volume for Prague wine cruise from the United States.
Right.
Okay. But let's see if there are other ones. So we're going to put in all these and missing keyword, can find data. Okay. So Prague boat rental, Prague boat trips. So there's really not that much traffic for Prague boat tours. Actually, let's do this one, Prague boat tour. Yeah, all right. There we go. This is actually what your keyword is. Prague River Cruise.
All right.
Vltava River Cruise. I don't know what that is. What's Vltava?
That's the name of the river.
That's the name of it. So perfect. So there you go. So that's actually a really great way to look at how to structure some of your content, right? Because people are searching for Prague River Cruise. They're looking for Vltava River Cruise. They're looking for River Cruise Prague, which are really interchangeable here. And all of these keyword difficulties, by the way, Uber Suggest gives you the same thing. All these keyword difficulties are all really low. So it's really easy to rank in these if you do follow the steps in this webinar, essentially, right? By the way, there's a lot of different ones. Prague River Tour, right? They're not huge in search volume, but I'll say that like, we rank for, by the way, huge CPC, $9 per click. So people are paying to Google $9 for every one of those clicks. If you can get in the top 3 position for Prague River Cruise, every one of those clicks are coming in for free on an ongoing basis. So that's one of the reasons I love SEO. And you can see like the search results here, Prague River. And by the way, this is only US, right? So like Viking River Cruises is number 1, right? 2021 Prague River Cruise Avalon Waterways. So these are the guys that are in top 2 positions in the United States for Prague River Cruise. But look at this. they have very little backlinks and backlinks to their site, right? Like this is really easy to compete with, because this means that you can like you get like 10 links and all of a sudden you're more authoritative for Prague river cruises than they are, right? Now their domains are much heavier, right? They have a very high domain ranking. By the way, these are all technical details that we will talk about later. If you want, ask me questions later. But like our primary goal here is to find a keyword difficulty that's low, that has a high CPC, right? So like remember we talked about this. This is the MVC formula: high volume, low difficulty, and high commercial intent. So commercial intent is easily suggested by the cost per click. The higher the cost per click, the more likely that there is money behind those clicks, right? Meaning that like, why would somebody spend money on a click that they weren't going to be able to make money, after the person clicked? So you can tell that, like, for instance, Vitava River Cruise is only $2.50. By the way, it's still great. But there's some in here that's like $1.10. So Boat Trip Prague, very cheap. So this is a great one to go after. You have 364 clicks that you can get. You have a high cost per click. You have the highest volume, and it's a low keyword difficulty. Uber Suggest gives you the same exact data. So that's how you identify the keyword that you want to go after, right? For SEO purposes, right? I mean, even for PPC, even if you wanted to bid on Google Ads, this is the same way you would do that. You would essentially find the keywords that you need to go after, right? And then set up the ads and bid on those keywords. All right.
Right. It's quite pricey though, the $9.
It's very pricey. Yeah. I mean, imagine at $9 a click. I mean, imagine how much value that's going to be if you can be in the first, top 3 positions of that one. Okay, so that's how you do keyword research, and those are some of the tools that you would use to do that. Okay, Andre, I'm going to mute you back again so that we can continue moving forward. Okay. Targeting people who are ready to buy and not just browsing. So talking about commercial intent. By the way, this is the most important thing that I am going to share with you guys today. If you can learn this and apply it in other aspects of your marketing, you will be far more successful in all your marketing. So simply, it's a buying cycle determination. Where in the process of buying is a customer, right? So informational, commercial, transactional, and navigational. Let's go through each one of these. Informational intent are searches, and when people actually are looking for something, when they say like, well, what is, or when, or where, or how, or the guide, or I want examples, or I want tips. So like, what is the best thing to do in Tortosa? When is the best time to visit Tortosa? Where in Tortosa do I stay? How do I get to Tortosa? Like, these are all informational intent. They have the lowest probability of conversion because people are not ready to buy. They're just researching. They're just trying to get answers about a certain topic at a very high level, right? You have commercial intent. Commercial intent are people that are much closer to the transaction. People who are actually looking for the best boat trips in Tortosa, the top boat trips in Tortosa, the best reviews, or the reviews of boat trips in Tortosa, right? Like, these are people who are like actually starting to get ready to buy something. And then you have transactional intent, which is the clearest indicator that they're ready to buy something when they're actually typing in, I want to book a trip, or I want to buy, or I want a best, or I want the price, or I want a discount. You see some overlap in between commercial and transactional, but transactional this is where your money's at, right? And then you have navigational intent, which is primarily around your own brand searches, people who are already looking for you. You essentially have people that are looking for you specifically using your brand and price. So in one case, you got like, who's got Galen Charters. So someone will type in like Galen Charters, price, booking, help, directions, right? You don't really need to optimize for this. You should have pages on your website for all these things, but Google clearly understands that you are that brand and that's the page people are looking for. So like these need to exist, but you don't need to like actually do work to optimize those. This just happen naturally. So what does this look like in practice? So I'll give you an example of the Tenerife.fun website. So on Tenerife.fun website, here is our MVC is whale watching Tenerife. It has a commercial intent. People are looking for trips that are whale watching in Tenerife. And so they type in whale watching Tenerife. Now, there's a bunch of other content that we create that has informational intent because we want to be informational. We want to help people understand where to go whale watching, what's the best time to go whale watching, what's the infographic. Like I want to see like an infographic, like a little traveler's guide we made. What are the whale species in Tenerife? And then the commercial intent, right? You essentially have the whale watching Tenerife, and then you have private charters in Tenerife. Now, this doesn't have that many searches. Private charters in Tenerife doesn't have that many searches, but it's a high margin, high profit product. Right? So we make a lot more off of this one as well. So we still optimize for it. We have a page that's just dedicated to private charters. Best sailing trip in Tenerife, transactional. Book a whale watching trip into Tenerife, transactional. These are product pages, right? Like this is a product page. Book a whale watching trip in Tenerife is a product page. It's a tour page where they can actually click and book. Best whale watching in Tenerife. These are all transactional. We have pages for all of these. We have pages for these. We have pages for these. We don't have a page for this yet because we haven't even started to optimize at this high of a level. Things to do in Tenerife and things to do as a search term anywhere that you are located is going to have the highest audience size, but also it's the hardest to convert them into customers because they're just looking for information. You need to create such compelling content at that stage that they have to essentially say, wow, I didn't even know that I could go on a boat trip. I want to go on a boat trip and I want to go with this provider. So there's a lot of work that needs to get done there from the marketing and sales perspective. But if you can figure this out, it makes a lot of money. We're actually starting to get into this now. So how do you structure your website for the best results? Okay. This is the typical information architecture that I see for the websites have and for boat trip operators. And information architecture simply means how do you organize your website? How do you actually put the pages? How do you structure it, right? And so most people put like they have a homepage with some information. They've got tours, a tours page. They've got a blog page and a contact us page. And then below that, they have like all their products. And below blog, they have all of their posts, right? This is not an ideal information architecture for small websites, okay? And it's not great because what you're doing is you're burying your most valuable content. Your homepage by default has the most authority. So let's pull up an example again from Galen Charters. And by the way, I'm sorry I'm using you as an example. It's nothing personal. I just want to point out. So this right here, this page, this homepage has by default the most authority of any page on your website because it is your homepage. So like it sits at the top of a hierarchy, right? And so what oftentimes I see is this happening where the actual product and the yachts and rates and all of this information is buried on a second level. So this is less than ideal. Ideally, what you want to do is have your MVC at the very top. So on the very first homepage, you want to have on that page all of the content and all the information that is directly related to your MVC and what people are searching for, right? So in our case, it's Tenerife whale watching. We have a much bigger site now. It's hundreds of pages. But when we first started, we put all of the boat information and everything that we had, we put it all on that homepage because that homepage gets the most authority. And so my recommendation is to take all of these products, right? And then you need to put a lot more content in here about like who you are, what you do, probably what you have in the about section. Yeah, so you have like some really great information here. You need to take all of this content and you need to put it all on here on the homepage, because this is much easier to rank for than it will be for you to have a really thin homepage and then have your content buried somewhere else, right? So the way you structure that is you have your MVC that you're going after right here, right? By the way, I realize now, Galen, that you're in Miami. I don't know how I couldn't find that before. Anyway, contact me later and I'll run you through a bunch of stuff to help you. And so MVC is on the top. And then from there, you have the links directly to your tours. Tour 1, tour 2, tour 3, you have your contact us, and then your blog. But then your best blog posts, don't bury your best blog posts. Keep your best blog posts on that first level. I call this essentially a flattened hierarchy, right? You flatten your website. Don't bury your good content. You essentially have your direct link from your MVC to your blog, this MVC, by the way, is also your homepage, from your homepage to your best post, and then your homepage again to your second post. You need to you flatten the architecture, okay? So content grouping and silos are a way to tell Google and other search engines how to essentially rank authority on your own website. You know, like for instance, if you have one page that links out to 15 other pages, and you have all 15 pages linking to that page, you're essentially telling Google that one page is right in the middle, and that clearly has the most authority. And so it gives search engines structure, and it gives them structure for authority. So this is related, but not dependent on information architecture that we just covered. To give you an example of how we do it. So we have a page for where to go whale watching, the best time to go whale watching, an infographic on whale watching, and what whale types are in Tenerife, like we just talked about. Those are informational. Then we have commercial intent, which is this one right here, which is whale watching Tenerife. And high volume plus low difficulty plus commercial intent is our MVC. This is our private charters in Tenerife page. And to show you exactly what this looks like in practice, it's not that complicated. Here's our guide, our essential info for travelers, right? There's tons of content in here. But then here are the pages that I was just talking about. We essentially link to them, and then from them, we link back. Best time of, so see, the whale watching the ultimate guide. So we just create this, we tell Google about authority just using structure in linking, interlinking. Okay, so then we also have best sailing trip in Tenerife, book a whale watching trip, and then best whale watching in Tenerife. And some of these are blog posts, and other ones are product pages. And you can see like right here are links to products. These are our products. And then throughout the website, there's links to the other articles that I mentioned to you, right? So, and by the way, you see how like, this is our navigation bar, and on our home page, so this is our home page. On our home page, we have a drop-down menu bar here for Tenerife Guide. This very first link goes to that blog post that I just showed you, because I wanted to flatten that architecture, right? I didn't want to bury my most valuable content 3 or 4 clicks deep into the website. I wanted to bring it up as high as possible and flatten that architecture. And so directly from the home page, which has the highest authority, you can click on that and you go directly into this blog post that gives you all the information you need to go whale watching in Tenerife. Okay, so that's how you flatten it, and that's how you create a content group using interlinking strategy. Okay, this strategy alone right here, if you just do this, your rankings will increase, because it will tell Google, even because like I'll tell you, you have a huge leg up. There's not that much competition. Like there's not other people that are sitting on webinars like this learning about how to do SEO for their boat businesses. Okay, so the competition is super low across most of your like local regional areas. Okay. So even if you just do this alone and create the right content, it will significantly improve your rankings and bring you business. Okay. So I know that I just showed you like a ton of content, and creating content is hard. Creating good content is hard. Okay. I'm not the best writer in the world, and it takes me a very long time to try to write something, but I'm a very good speaker. And once I have an outline, and for me, this is my process. My process might be different for you, but I highly suggest you checking it out. But you essentially want to have an idea of what kind of content you want to create after you've established your MVC, right? And after you've established your informational and then your commercial and transactional intents and which pages belong where, then you essentially, what you do is, you don't write it yourself. Like, I don't write it. I write outlines. And so what I do for me is I write an outline, and then I record a video of me talking about it, and just going by point through the outline. And then I send it to a writer. I just send the whole package to a writer, and I hire writers on Upwork and on moneymakingseo.com. These guys did such a great job for me that I actually invested in their company. So I highly recommend them. They're SEO firm that specializes in travel companies. It's fantastic. So decent writers will charge somewhere between $50 and $100 per 500 words, somewhere between 5 and 10 cents a word. The longer the article, the less you pay per word. And so here's how I do it. I just create an outline for the whole shebang, right? Like I put together everything that a customer may want to know about whale watching in Tenerife, or about any other topic that I'm writing about. And then I essentially order like a 5,000 word article to be written about all of this content that I want. I run through all of it. And then after I get it delivered, I break it up into multiple different articles. So it saves me a lot of money. I pay something like 2 or 3 cents a word, which is significantly cheaper. So the higher volume that you order, the cheaper it is. And so here's a great example of me just talking through an outline. Like this outline, here's the outline I wrote. By the way, anyone can do this. Outlines are super easy to write. But essentially, like, here's the title that I had created, intro, and like what I want in the intro, and then like why Tenerife is a great place. You can go whale watching anywhere, and then information about each place, and then all the different types of whale watching you take. Anyway, so I essentially I put together this long outline, and then I just recorded a video of me talking about it for like 45 minutes or an hour, however long it took me to get through the whole thing. And then I just packaged it up and sent it to a writer. And I got back 5,000 words of content in like a week or two. I mean, 5,000 words is like 2 weeks of work, but the writers will research it. They'll listen to you. They'll find supporting or facts and put their own personality in it, and put your personality in it, because they've got chances to see you on video talking about it. So a good writer can synthesize all this information and put together some really valuable, some very useful content. And that's by far the easiest way I found, by the way, to create content. So you essentially have identified your MVC. You have structured your website. You've created the content. You've created the information architecture and the content grouping. And now we essentially get to, well, you have all this stuff. Like, well, how do you then rank competitively in competitive spaces? So like, how do you outrank TripAdvisor, for instance? How do you outrank, Get Your Guide? How do you outrank boatrental.com? Like, how do you outrank these aggregators that specialize in this kind of stuff? Well, you do this by essentially increasing the authority of your website, right? And so the way you do this is called link building. The more websites around the internet that link to you, link to your content, link to your website, the higher your authority increases, because links, external links coming into your website, are the number one ranking factor in all of search engines. Any search engine. It doesn't matter if you're on Google or Yandex or Baidu, or it doesn't matter. They're all looking for which article or which website has the highest authority. So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. I'm not going to go into every single one of them right now, because that by itself is like a whole lesson. But let's just go through a few of them. So buy expired domains. So you can go to pool.com, and pool.com essentially has a bunch of sites that are already being deleted or are deleted. So so I essentially have you go to deleted domains, and you do a quick search. So let's just say, for instance, that I wanted to buy a domain. You only want to buy expiring domains that have backlinks, and that have authority, and then don't have any spam backlinks coming into them. So, and then what you do is after you buy that, you create a 301 redirect to your own website. So let's just say you want to stay within your space, within your industry. So boat would be a good one. If you have a jet ski, you can type in jet ski, but you essentially look for searches. Sorry, I gotta log in. Yeah. So like all of these domains here are all being deleted. And so what you do is you take one of these that looks like it's, that would be valuable to you. You take one of these, you copy it, and then in Ubersuggest, the tool I showed you, you just plug it into Ubersuggest, and you let it tell you if there's backlinks and authority and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's how you do that. Guest blogging is another great example. You write articles on other people's websites that will get that you can insert your own link into. So if you're ever curious on like how to do that, like you just type in to Google travel and then write for us, or boat, write for us, because this is a very common way that website administrators will describe the opportunity for you to write content for their blogs. So you can see like write for us on practicalwanderlust.com, wearetravelgirls.com, therightlife.com, thetravelmanual.com. So like all these are examples of websites that will take your content submissions. They have to be good. They have to, the content has to be good, has to be relevant to their audience. But if you write the content, you get a link back. You can do a link exchange. We just did one of these in Build Trip Operators group. Maybe we'll do another one sometime soon. Local directories and associations. There's tons of like tourism boards and local associations in your state or your country that you can join, and they will give you a link back in their directories. Competitor backlink analysis. This is like a more technical way to approach websites that are already linking to your competitors. So if they're already linking to your competitor, you can reach out to them and say, hey, we noticed you're linking to them. We also have this, and we're different and better because of XYZ reason. Maybe you should link to us as well. So there's a process there. And then there's lots of things to do in etc. in a place posts, right? So like things to do in, what was the Tortosa? Things to do in Tortosa. There's tons of articles. So there's one, Lonely Planet, Travel Inspires, Spain Holiday. So what you do is you look at all of these, you reach out to them and you say, hey, we're a great thing to do in Tortosa. Would you consider including us in your article, right? So this manually takes a lot of work. I don't have the time to do it. I have a lot of other things going on. And so I use, I outsource this. Outsourcing is in this particular case, I found to be one of the most cost-effective uses of my resources, because doing this myself, I have to create the process, I have to create the emails, I have to create the content, there's a lot of production work and value that has to go into it. So I use moneymakingseo.com and the Hoth. Again, I use these guys because they're specialized in travel, and they're fantastic. The Hoth is a huge company out of the UK that does SEO. That's also fantastic to work with. I've used them multiple times. Let me give you an example, like all the stuff that I just showed you, right? And like, here's the kind of report that I get. Like I tell them, here's my URL, here's my keyword. So I essentially gave them whale watching Tenerife, whale and dolphin trip, and whale watching trip. And I gave them, this is my target URL, right? And in 2 weeks, they come back and they say, well, we created all of these links for you on these websites. We created all of these links for you on these websites. So let me see if this is even live right now. This was a while ago. Yeah. So like they created some page on a business blog, and here's all her products, and it has a link back to our website. So by far the best investment that I've ever made into SEO services is link building. You can see that like they created, these are all links that are coming in to that whale watching Tenerife MVC, and all I had to do was pay and wait 2 weeks, and I just got it all back. And this was not expensive, by the way. This was like $400, and I got hundreds of links out of it. Maybe even 1,000. I don't even know, but it's definitely the best way to do link building, in my opinion. Unless you're trying to optimize for things like Disneyland. If you're trying to optimize for super competitive terms like Disney World or like, these like big places, then your SEO strategy obviously has to differ from this. This is for small local operators. So our backlink profile, you can see, like I just gave you an example of the kind of work that we were doing. This is our backlink profile when we really started putting our foot to the gas and going fast on this. You can see that like our backlink profile increased significantly. Our referring pages, we got like 6,000 pages that refer to us right now, right? Organic traffic continues to increase. You can tell like pretty much right here is like January 2019 is here. We did all this link building, and then look our traffic after that, right? So like when you put the effort in SEO, your traffic starts to really increase, right? We rank for over almost 3,000 keywords now, right? And our traffic continues to increase. So this is like a very, the stuff I'm giving you it works. I promise you, it's amazing. And now I don't have to spend money on paid anything. I don't have to pay money to social media advertising. I have to pay money for PPC and Google Ads. Everything's just organic, and now it's free. I mean, I invested in it initially, but now it's free. And you can see that like when we really started kicking our organic traffic into gear, our direct bookings from organic increased significantly. Right? I mean, like this was really fun. And then of course, like we're a very seasonal business, so Q4 and Q1 for us are very low seasons. Q4, Q1. I think we just started here, like 2018, and we launched our website, and so like we did this in a very short period of time, and grew very quickly. All right, so if you got any questions right now, guys, please throw them into the chat. I know we're running up here on our 1 hour, and I don't want to keep you guys for too much longer. Post your Q&A, please, in the chat if you've got any questions right now. To get help ongoing, I want to help you guys out as much as I can on this. I think that like we all deserve to be OTA free and actually making money on a regular basis, ongoing, and build a sustainable long-term business. So if you want to get help, of course, post questions in the Facebook group, send me a message. I will absolutely always do my best to help you on your journey. Just be specific with your questions, please. Don't ask me, how do I increase my rankings? I'm just going to send you a link to this presentation, right? And then lastly, I'm happy to help you guys out. So, thank you so much for investing this time with me. If you're taking direct bookings seriously, and you want to grow your direct bookings, and you want to stop paying the crazy commission rates to resellers, you can book a free 45-minute consultation with me. I'll run through your website with you one-on-one instead of trying to pick it out of the comments. You can go to bto.levitt.me and be happy to just schedule a call with me there. It'll set up a Zoom call. You can either join me on Zoom, and if it's not Zoom, there are a bunch of international phone numbers you can join me on there. Aragon asks, what's your website? Our website is tenerife.fun. It's this one. So tenerife.fun. So just kind of give you like a higher level perspective. We started out as like a single boat trip operation. And then once we were doing that well for a little while and we were building up our authority on the website, I essentially decided to shift to a more long-term strategy for the website because we were investing all this time, energy, and effort into building our authority on the website. And so we started out just as like, book our sailing boat and book our whale watching tours. And then we started shifting into an OTA. So now we're a regional OTA. We have something like 60 or 70 products on the website, and you can book directly through our site. So now we're not only selling our own tours, but we're a reseller for a bunch of other tours. And so our website is much bigger now, and it continues to grow. And we invest more and more into SEO and et cetera. Let's see. We got a couple more questions. Joan says, what is the company where you bought the backlinks? Money Making SEO. Yeah, it's moneymakingseo.com. Yeah, so these guys are essentially rebuilding the site right now, but you can just sign up to be notified when they're back. And they'll have details there for the different packages that they offer on link building. Howie asks, is there a difference between .fun and versus .com? The .coms are taken. And I wanted something that was poppy, that was easy to remember, that was short, that was very powerful. And so I bought a premium domain. Tenerife.fun is like Tenerife is 15 million tourists. No, not 15. Yeah, I think it's 15. I don't remember the number exactly right now, but I think somewhere in the 15 million or so tourists on just that island. 8. Yeah, 15 million across all of the Canary Islands, 8 million in Tenerife. That's a lot of people. And so I kind of knew that like I kind of want to position us to be I have a more long-term strategy on that island. And so that's why we invested in Tenerife.fun, and we built out a strong brand behind it. Another question is, Ergan asks, which OTA do you use? We use Get Your Guide. We use TripAdvisor. We signed up for a couple others, but they're not working for us. So mostly it's just those two. Joan says, how do you monetize the bookings to other boats, affiliate or commission? Great question. I'm glad you're thinking about this, because this is something that I've been thinking about for a while. So affiliate or commission, both. So if we have them listed on our website, we get a commission. If we don't have them listed on our website, then we have an affiliate essentially. And so I'll give you a perfect example. This was the whale watching guide. So we were ranking number 3, right, for whale watching in Tenerife, but we were essentially only selling our own sailing tours, our own boat trip. And our own boat trip, of all of the boat trips that are available, there's hundreds. Of all the boat trips that are available, there's all kinds of different sizes and types, and there's and price ranges. And I knew that like essentially what we were doing is people were coming to our site, but not everybody was buying. And so I wanted to essentially position us to be a great resource for anyone who was looking for whale watching trips in Tenerife. And in part of that, position our product well comparatively to other products. So if that makes sense, right? So essentially, if you can control the distribution channel, you can control the conversation. This is some much more advanced stuff that I'm happy to chat with you guys about later. What we did was we created a very comprehensive guide on everything about whale watching. And then what we did was we said the 5 types of whale watching tours. And of course, here we are, Tenerife.fun. If you wanted to book a sailing trip, here's the information, right? And if you click on this, it takes you to our page where you can select which of our boat trips you want to book, right? Now, if they don't want to be in Costa Deje, if they want to be in Los Gigantes, there's another sailing trip in Los Gigantes, which is a different location, but also a 5-star fantastic trip. Now, if they click on this link, they get taken to Get Your Guide. And they get taken to Get Your Guide, with which we have an affiliate relationship with. So if this person books Third Element, we still get paid. So on all of that effort and energy that we spent and invested in building the Tenerife.fun brand and the whale watching guide, now we get to monetize more of the traffic, even if we don't sell even though we're not selling just our own tour, right? So now we get paid regardless of which tour they book. So for me, it's a strategic long-term kind of view for the way that I build websites. What else we got here? Aragon asks, do you think Boken is successful for business? I use Boken. I think it's fantastic. I know some people have moral issues with them. Honestly, I've worked with several other booking systems in the past, and they all seem to be just as immoral as Boken is. I know TripAdvisor and Boken, like, they're going through a bunch of growing pains and a bunch of issues, but frankly, like, I think it's I think Boken is great. I mean, I think it's got connections to OTAs. It's got its marketplace. Like, we actually pull, like, all the products you see on our website are all pulled from the marketplace in Boken. And then all of the booking, commission, contracting, everything is handled automated by Boken. So, like, if somebody books through our website someone else's tour, that booking just goes straight through us. We just collect a commission, and that booking goes straight to us, to the actual supplier, and the supplier fulfills the order, and that's it. Our website is built with two things. It's built with Boken as the back end, and it's built with Get Local as the front end. If you're not familiar with these guys yet, they're fantastic. It's called Get Local. It's an e-commerce and CMS solution for travel. So it's kind of like WordPress, except it lives on top of Boken. They're just getting started, and they already have, like, here we are. They also run Flight Center, Gray Line, Board a Boat. Like, all of these guys are the customers. They're growing very quickly, and it's great. And it's built directly on top of Boken, and it's super easy to manage. The guys are great. If you're interested, just send me a message if you want an introduction to the CEO there. He's a really great guy. Okay. I think I got through all the questions. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. If you want me to dive in with your website, just to kind of, like, I know we didn't get a chance to chat with Jerome and who else? Gil. So if you guys want me to, like, pop into your websites, Jordy, if you guys want me to pop into your websites for us to, like, actually do some more of this investigative work and put together a game plan for you, just go to bto.levitt.me, pick a time that works for you, and schedule a time with me. And we'll do some, like, keyword analysis. We'll take a look at your website. We'll just kind of put together a quick game plan. If I can help, great. If not, all good. I'll see you guys in the group, and tune in maybe in the next week or two. We'll do another webinar with another very special guest. Thank you all so much, and have a fantastic weekend. Have a great Friday. Bye-bye.